I've just turned on the recording. This is our lecture for Design 350. It's Thursday, October 28th at 11, and we are on Google Meet. Let's see what's up. We're working on the tiny house project right now. And let's see. I've got some recordings up so far. You'll have to kind of look through here and find them. I'll get today's recording up in a little while. Got a little bit of a playlist where things are going, and you've got these project requirements to work on. But the main thing that I want to do today is to continue with your Revit work so you can get most of the modeling done. And then next week we can start working on some of the other items. And then we should be able to, let me look on the discussion board and see if, oh, here we go, there we go. See if we, yep, so we've got some research materials here that Leah put on. And so you should go through these and start becoming sorry, familiar with what's in these, and you're going to do what we called before scan. You have some very specific pieces of information that you want to put into the proposal, and so you should at least do a very, very brief preview so you know what's inside of each of these, and then be able to scan through them to fill in next week or later on this week some of the information in the Revit file for your proposal. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into where we were before. And I'll just pop this one up for right now, full size. And where did we go? If we look on our sheet list, we got the San Diego map with the Hamul area shown on it. We have the Hamul area map with the site vicinity shown on it. And we have the site vicinity map with the site shown on it. Now, I'm expecting yours to be a little bit more complete than what I've done here. I'm just giving you sort of a basic rundown of what goes where and how you might do it. So yours should be in a little bit more complete state than what you see here. Okay. Should also make sure that you get your name on here. And for the client name, you can just put the address. And I'll get rid of the word client so it fits better. There we go. So this was your project proposal page. Your general notes page is just going to come out all on its own. And you'll get more views on here as they go. And I'll show you later on how to make sure that these are in order of the sheet list number. And actually, we'll put the sheet list over here. So this isn't exactly how it goes, but it's pretty close. And you're going to leave your general notes blank for now. Your proposed use case, the only thing that we've done so far are the local services, but I do have some other ones. The similar project map is available from the information that Leah gave us, and the actual site will give us the project utilities, existing utilities. So we'll be able to get these shortly. So these will all come up later. Your compliance statements, those will come up later. And so where we left off was the existing site. And I took the 3D off because I thought it was worthwhile to have this at a larger size. And there's a few things that we need to make sure. You should have elevations at each corner. So this one's missing, this one's missing, this one's missing, and this one's missing. You can also, if this is made out of multiple arcs, put them in there. So this one does not have everything. The main plateaus should all have some. There should be a scale. It's missing a north arrow. Missing a north arrow. And as you know, these property lines, they're missing the tags. But you know how to do those. And if you don't, DM me or get a hold of me. We've been sort of doing these along. So that's what you want to have on there. You'll need to take some time to finish this out. And then you need the existing residence. So remember, we got that from just some quick measurements on Google Maps. Use Google Maps. So now we want the existing topo and drainage plan. And lo and behold, we're going to make that out of the existing property line plan. So let me go there. So there I've got it. And it's pretty cool. And I can add my north arrow, and I can add the rest of these, and I can add my property tags, right? Those are called property tags. Tag by category. Property line, there isn't one right now. So I have to find them. They're under annotations. I think they're under civil property tag. Property line tag. And I might need to put this one in too. See if I can put them both in at once. Maybe they both went in. Yep, that one went in. And if I click on it later on, I can change it to the one that shows the radius too, which is really cool. Okay, but normally we remove the leader line and just get this down here close. Something like that is just fine. Okay, so that's how you'll finish up all the rest of these all the way around. Okay, just take a look at it. You're able to get these things done now. If you see where the driveways go, you can do regions for those, just like what we did for this. Okay, now let me go ahead and I'm going to make a duplicate view. I'm going to keep the detailing, and I'll get rid of it when I don't want what I don't want. So right click, rename. This is site plan topo. And I better go look back and see. So I think I want one with just topo plan and one that showed the drainage plan. Is that how it went? Where would I find that? I would find that on my Jamboard to see how I asked for it to be done. One topo plan and one a drainage plan. Existing. So this is going to be a topo plan. So in the topo plan, I can leave a lot of this in here. It's okay. I can leave these in here. Remember, I need to put in where there might be major trees, But the main thing now is I'm going to go to massing and site, and I'm going to put my label contours in. Now, I see these are every foot, and that looks a little complex to me. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny little arrow underneath the modeling and site tab. Tiny little arrow. We'll come in. And I can see that I've got these every 1 foot. So I can change that to every 2 feet. And it really cleans up my topo. So I would suggest that that be every 2 feet. And that lays those in pretty well. And then those are only a 1/16 of an inch. So I might need to do something with that. That's awfully small. So probably worthwhile to duplicate and go to at least 3/32. And change this to 3/32. And units format. I think, I want fractions in inches, but I probably want it to the nearest foot. See how that's really cleaned that up. Much nicer looking now. And there's no way to change where those go or anything like that. But now I might need some over here too. I'm just holding my mouse down and then click. Those are really squeezed together, whereas over here they're not. So I might need to do these one at a time so they're not quite so much there. Or that's probably, or put them on each one that I'm interested in. Those don't look very good like that. I'm gonna undo those. There we go. So you can do some work there, and then you can get rid of certain ones if you want. You can go by every 4. And clean those up a little bit. I'm going to let you work on making that look a little better. See, all of a sudden that looks much better. These are still off a little bit. There we go. Okay, and that's got the majority of them. I can tell pretty much everything. I probably want to see what's going on in here. And I probably want to see what's going on over here. And again, these ones got all messy. So I can just get one of them in there. And then the last ones that I don't have are these. And again, that's a little bit clunky right there. So I'd probably have to do those more like what I did here. And I don't actually have to do all of those. I can just continue over to here and maybe just do a couple of these. Okay. But there, now I've got a fairly reasonable topo plan, but it's got to be a little bit different sized, right? Because it's going to have to fit on there. So it's probably going to have to be like 1 equals 100. Now I got to go back and change it all around again. So let's go take a look. That one goes on my existing topo. And I can right click and add a view and just go come find it. Topo. Isn't that cool how you can just do that really quick? So that's pretty close. I could probably get the two on here at 1 equals 100 if I do a little bit of moving some stuff around. So again, I can go back in and do a little bit of moving around and then get this other one down here. So let me do that. 1 equals 100 looks okay. Where was that? View, topo. But now look, it's like, oh man, I got to go back and do some of this over again. And look, those weren't on the right one. Those need to go on the 332nd, 332nd. So you've got, there's just stuff to go in to get these to all look right. And I'm just going to let you go ahead and do that. I'm telling you of the need, and you can do that now. But look, so this Pioneer is kind of in the way. This is one of the problems when you have to resize some things. I don't need the acre, and I don't need the address anymore either. It's nice to know that it says existing property. I do want to keep this. I like to keep my north arrow, all that kind of stuff. So there, that's sort of where it's going to look. Let me look at my crop view. About as cut in as I can get. Now let's see how it looks like on the page. And it's, you've got work to do, right? All of this is work to make it look like an industry standard drawing. There it is. And this can move over a little bit. And up a little bit. thinking I'll be able to get my other one in here, my drainage plan. And since there's not nearly as much text on a drainage plan, I can even go to a slightly smaller scale if I need to. So let's go do the drainage plan. I'm going to make it from this one. And it's essentially the same thing, but these little grade markers all go away. These aren't bad to keep, but you don't need the property lines anymore, right? And now we go to annotate and spot slope. And you're just giving an indication of where everything is draining to. And you might have to move some text and things to get it to look good. Probably is a good idea to get the slope in here too. So that lets you know, and this one's really obvious over here. You don't need your slope marker here. It's all going down that way. So you can see you're not going to have to mitigate too much because since this is existing, you're going to probably be guessing that the drainage is all taken care of. Now, if there are notes that tell you that the drainage is not acceptable, then you would have to do some work. But you're not going to be doing anything that's going to significantly change the drainage. Now we've got site plan drainage. We'll come back down. A lot of going back and forth. Right click, add view, drainage. And I'll get it to fit. Not too bad. That's fine like that. That can move up and over just a little bit. Maybe I moved it a little bit too much, but so now we've got the site plan drainage and the site plan topo of existing. Yep.
How did you insert that onto that page?
Okay. So normally what you've been taught in the past is you go up here and you drag it in, right? But if I right click on the sheet name, might even be able to do it over here. Nope. I have to right click on the sheet name, add a view. And it comes up with all the unused views. What has not been used so far? And you can add them in. Maybe they have been used. Let's see. Sometimes you can add them in. Sometimes it'll tell you that you're not allowed to. But that's it. You just right click, add a view, and then these are all the views that you have to choose from.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's really nice, huh?
It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, yeah. So look, we've just gotten 2 more views done. We're up to what, 5 or 6 or 7 out of the 30. And these ones don't take too long. These ones just kind of like pop out, right? Now, you do want to take a little bit more time to finish them up and make them look good, but and some people don't put these on in each view. I tend to. Why? If somebody took a snapshot or a PDF or they printed it out on the wrong size paper, this scale over here would not help anymore. So you need something physical that you can, stick your fingers across and, say 200, 400, 600, 800. It's about 800 feet. You need to have these scale markers on there. And I made kind of a simple clunky one, but you can do more if you want. Okay, now we've got proposed site plan. And you're going to have to be thinking about this a little bit. Okay, and so I'm just going to throw out a couple of thoughts, but in essence, well, let's go to the proposed site plan, and that's going to come from the existing site plan, existing. There it is right there. I'm going to duplicate that view, and this is going to be proposed. Now, the reason I'm leaving all these property lines on is that it could be that somebody wants to cut this property in half, or even cut it along here. Those would both be allowable, although this might be a little too short. There's rules about minimum amount of distance along there. But I could easily see somebody deciding to cut this in half, put a tiny home here, and 2 tiny homes here. So, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't need this anymore. I already know that. And this is now proposed. And I remember that that needs to move in a little bit. That was probably a little too much. So I'll probably need to move this to get it kind of out of the way. But everything else can stay. And now I need a graded region. And we've done a couple of different ideas and plans, but you're going to choose whether this is going to be 1, 2, or 3 tiny houses. It's going to be your choice. Everybody now gets to sort of do their own thing at this point. So I'm going to do three tiny houses. And now I think I can do if I can get that thing right. I've done a terrible job with this one. Let's try that again. There we go. And I'm just going to say that I'm going to locate 3 tiny houses on that. That's 30 feet, so I should be able to get 3 tiny houses on there. And I'll do this as a gray filled region. No, maybe I'll do this as, let's see what a diagonal crosshatch will look like on that. That looks pretty good. So this is going to be, and now I just need to label that. Now, because I'm doing 3 tiny houses, that should be, I'm just pad, leveled, and compacted for 3 tiny houses. Now, it could be that I only put 2 on because this would take real planning approval compared to some of the others, right? But I can go ahead and do some basic radius. Come on, let me do better than that. That's one of the things about I'll leave it right over here for now. Oh, come on. Okay, or probably be better. Probably be better just to do that. Much cleaner looking, right? And it doesn't say exactly where it's going to go, but leveled and compacted for 3 tiny houses. And I could even put each of the tiny houses in there just to show, right? It's essentially 8 foot by 24. And those ones I can make gray. And I can put a detail line and make those wide lines with one more line. Just to show that that's where the trailer goes. And that's giving the idea that I'm going to need to be able to get access out around here. Right? And then if I want to put the other ones on, I can copy and then rotate. And then move it into place. And then rotate. And it looks like it's in pretty good place right there. Right? So there, now that's really I'm just giving them the idea. This isn't the construction, it isn't the details, it's not how deep I'm going to do the pad. And there's going to be foundation layers and things like that. But that really gives me my site plan. But now I really do need the ingress and egress. So you'll think about that a little bit. I'm pretty sure the way it runs right now, that right along here, there are there's some lines, and I think they offset like maybe probably like 12 feet. Did the wrong thing there. So let's do that again. I'm going to offset 12 feet. They have to have some room to get around there. And then you'll probably need to do some grading right along here to get up here, but it's not too far. That's why we want to know what that new grading is going to look like. Now I can just make an arc from here. Sorry, I picked the wrong one. Give it just a little bit of an arc. And then that needs to go catch up. I know that can snap to the end. Well, I've got some snap stuff going on, so I'm going to cheat. There we go. Has to continue, right? And then I can do that offset again of this one, 12. So you see how I'm just trying to design something that's going to work. And then you have to come back off of it. But I'm not going to do all that work because that's you guys' job to think about that. And I'll do that one as see what it looks like on ortho hot. There we go. So now you can identify what that is, what that is. And we know that there's some existing drive slope, but we're going to say that we're going to do something different with it. Something like that. You'll just say something about how you plan to to build that. You don't have to make it as big as that, right? It's fancy, but I'm letting you see what it might be. And this will be like, okay, so that kind of does that. Now, you've seen probably, I can get you some other examples from the Design Hub of how this has been done. There's a couple of other very nice examples, and you don't have to do this, right? This was my idea. You could do 3 of them straight across that come down off of this front side, not around the back side. You could literally, if you wanted to, for the purposes of this class, you could stick it over here, but then I think you have some drainage problems. Um, you will eventually have to be able to do a detail around this. Putting a gravel pathway right on the edge of a downslope is not the greatest idea. So you might need a detail to show that there's a retaining wall along here and maybe something to separate this pad from this. Or maybe you make that all one thing. Maybe it's all the same material. So you just get to play around with this. If you have a specific idea over here that you're going to have maybe some maybe you're going to have a large grass area. You could do something like that. This then might need to move to get to a better spot. And that looks a little too big. There we go. Now it's pretty much all on that plateau. And then you could label that. So this is where you get to play around just a little bit. And you just call that common area. Now there's other things that you can think about. These are tiny houses. There's not a lot of room for washing clothes and guests to come and go to the bathroom if you're in the common area and things like that. So you can think about other items that would be interesting. This is really what the planners are going to look at to see if this use seems appropriate. And you do need to show everything that you plan to do in this use. So, if you're going to build another structure later on or this or that or the other thing, you'll need to have it there. Okay? So now we've got this thing going on. And so this is our proposed property. Do all the same stuff that we've talked about. And that goes down here on our proposed site plan. Add a view. And I have to do those same things to make it fit. There we go. And that would tell somebody what you're planning to do. They could see that and they could read it. These might be a little small. You might want to, after you see it on here, you might want to make a few things a little bit bigger. Okay. And you might put down that that the number of tiny houses is per the written proposal, that these are just there to show how they would orient. Um, so there we go. Any questions on that one? Oh, this has to go. I don't think I wrote. Oh, yeah, yes, I did. I wrote it right there. That's the ingress. I did not show the egress, which is how to get off the site, which could continue around and slope back into this one, or they have an existing one that goes off over to here. Okay? But it could show the egress, how to get off of the site over this way. Okay, any questions?
I have just one question that would pertain to, I guess, all the drawing or most of the drawings with the topo on it. I can't remember how you got that particular topo of the actual property into there to begin with yesterday.
It,
I did the other three ones, like the site plan and the
it
area map and things like that.
okay, it came with it. It's already there.
Oh, okay.
It's yeah, so it's already this is there. So
Okay.
the model is in it. And so then I just started making copies of it. So I'd
Okay.
right click, duplicate view, and go to it.
I couldn't I couldn't remember for sure, and the only way that I can work in it is in VMware.
Right, because
Um,
it's a 2022.
yes, and I don't know how to update Revit on my laptop for 2022. Do I just re-download?
I'm not sure. They keep changing how the plan works, and I'm not up on that. Um,
Okay.
who might know? And we used to have a student that Autodesk hired that would help us with that.
Yeah, I ended up taking it to the like tech support
Yeah,
on campus, and they were the ones that just downloaded everything for me. It was much easier.
yeah, Jim, right?
I can't remember. I
Yeah,
just know that it didn't take them very long, and they were able to kind of help with the firewalls and stuff, and then they were
right.
able to download everything on there. So
Yeah,
I have it on my laptop, but it's not the updated version, so I have to work in VMware um,
yeah.
on that.
And and
So
and I'm doing everything myself in VMware, just so that you can see that it can be done. So that's kind of kind of cool. Let me just show you one extra thing from here. If you want those to be even lighter, you can take that element and you can see that I gave it a color like that. You can, the bigger that number is, so like if I do 250, 250, 250, it's even lighter. Oops. Yeah, it's really really light now. I can barely see it. So that's just a little trick that you should know about. Come on, topo surface. So I had it on 230 something before. So you can go anywhere in there. If you make it 240, it's up to you. Whoops. It's up to you how light you want those to show up. They should not detract from the drawing at all. But sometimes it's nice to have them in there. Okay, so there's another little bit. Okay, any other questions?
I have one more, but outside of
Okay,
this class.
okay, so that sounds cool. So I'm going to go ahead and